Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy, and this is of particular note if you drive an electric vehicle. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Now, we are joined by the Adam Meakin, Neil, 10th Man, Refracted Curvature. Did I miss anybody? No? And a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Hey.
Hello, hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Well, pre-show 10th was just covering how we don't experience it, and certainly we don't calculate for it. It's simpler to just pretend that we're stationary. And imagine, even though we're imagining it exactly as we see it and observe it and experience it, imagine that it's the stars that are moving and not us. So no, all our senses would be the opposite, but we have to ignore our senses because cleverer people, smarter people than us have figured it out.
It was a lot more explicit than that in terms of what it's detailing and how we've been hoodwinked into believing there's Earth curvature. Now, I don't typically plug memberships during a live show, but I'm going to today. Why the hell not? So become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member today, and you will get the benefit of that pre-show, which we're discussing right now, where 10th Man goes through a presentation, which I'll flash up some of the slides. So if you're a cheapskate, you can just pause them. But yeah, you can check that out if you're a member. And because it's the weekend, although again, I don't typically mention what day it is, there's a longer delay for the uncut and after show, which often gets very heated, the after show, that is, if there's been a fundie who doesn't want to join during the live section of the show. So yeah, become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member today, and you'll get to see the uncut and after show that we're discussing right now, and all of the other pre and after shows that attach to these live shows as soon as they're uploaded, which is after the live show ends and however long it takes to upload it after the show's finished recording. So hopefully you'll smash that membership button and become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member now. And it's only a couple of bucks, I believe, for the lowest member, and I release everything to all levels of channel memberships. So yeah, the lowest membership will get you all of the things that everyone else gets. So it's not a great deal of benefit other than you wanting to support me more by paying me more for becoming a member. So that's enough of my plug. Check it out. It's John Henry, Moving Heaven and Earth, Copernicus and the Solar System.
So yeah, like if the Earth wasn't spinning, we wouldn't have television sets, right?
Yeah, if the Earth wasn't a sphere, we wouldn't have computers.
Yeah. Science would not work.
Yeah, like in that Don't Look Up movie, when they're essentially detailing, or the Leonardo DiCaprio characters sat in front of a computer reasoning with people who just won't listen to the heliocentric world and how it's going to kill us all. What do these people think? If it wasn't for this mathematics of heliocentrism, we would never have computers. Good timing.
Makes total sense to me. Total sense.
It's a complete non sequitur. Any evidence you can have a curved adjacent when acquiring an elevation angle?
Well, I think the only solution is to not understand it and just think you can.
You know, but you can't. As soon as you come to applying the mathematics, just thinking you can have a curved adjacent won't allow you to perform any trig.
I know.
Well,
That's why not understanding is the only solution.
I see.
Well, can we use the flat elevation angles to acquire co-altitude to assert that we're on a sphere?
No, you can derive a radius value and then take that model to infer that you've got a geometric horizon that we debunked last year or the year before with the black swan. But as for just taking the elevation angles, no, because they're flat Earth elevation angles, as you well know. Can somebody boil this down? There's going to be an audience member, and I want to do this regularly. We're basically claiming that the globe Earth requires a flat Earth in order to imply it. To assert that you're on a sphere would first require you measured the Earth as flat.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's something they're stuck with. That's what drives them crazy when they come here.
Yeah. And we've got a descent into the mouth of madness from our anti-flat Earth opponents. Now, the globe believers aren't going to necessarily be on a sharp enough tip to get this, or therefore care. So we're not necessarily saying if you believe in the globe, this is going to send you into madness. More that the people who keep up to date with the flat Earth debate from the anti-flat Earth side, the people who will challenge the very globe rhetoric they're trying to prove is true in defence of our refutations of those globe claims, those are anti-flat earthers. Now, they keep abreast of the argument, and at this particular juncture in the argument, we've got a point where our opponents, anti-flat earthers, have to accept that the Earth is flat in order to make any assertions moving forward in this argument. There is no alternative. The alternative that has actually befell us is lies. Just lie about needing a triangle. Just lie about needing R. Just lie about needing 90.
Nathan, in that excerpt of that book I read, this kind of ties into this. So how on earth did we ever come to believe in the motion of the Earth? If our senses and our common sense tell us that the Earth is not fast, but steadfast, and if it is listen here, a requirement of a practically useful technical art like navigation, that the Earth be considered stationary. So, for navigation, for convenience, for ease, it's better to believe the Earth is motionless and the stars are moving. Interesting that we have to treat it as a geocentric, not a heliocentric.
Yeah, because it makes life very difficult if you assume you're moving and you've got 1,000-mile-an-hour tangential velocity at the edge of a sphere Earth that required a flat Earth to imply in the first instance. It's all a bit nonsensical, really.
Well, if it's geocentric, then you can get elevation angles.
No, geocentric doesn't necessarily mean flat.
No, I'm not saying it from that point of view. Even if they have their globe, it's not moving. It's a ball in their space just sitting there. That doesn't work.
No, but in terms of their angle measurement from the centre of a sphere, that does actually have the heavens moving around a geocentric stationary plane at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth, does it not?
Yeah, but that's not happening. It's happening on the surface because the surface is a plane. They transpose it to the center of something that doesn't exist, but if it did, it would have an equatorial plane.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Only Kent Hovind talks about that one. But only because he completely doesn't understand.
Does he go through the story of Thea and its presumed formation? Obviously, given the heliocentric timeline, it should have cooled down already.
No, he doesn't. No, but he is still very Bible-bound, basically in his own improvised way. I think he's like just improvising a lot. Like the Earth is a ball, but he doesn't graft in like the Big Bang or that kind of story for Thea. Or
Well, hold on. Where does he get it biblically? And on the 8th day, God said, let there be a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the center of the presupposed spherical Earth. Amen.
Well, he thinks that that's just hell, right? It's hell, so it should be there, kind of thing.
He also, Arwen, I know we mentioned it before, but he's a denier of Polonium people as well, Ken. He seems to
Oh
think
God,
it's true. He reckons
No.
it was formed in an instant. It's not the remnants of an ancient civilization.
No in-jokes, please.
Well, no, if you'd listened to the debate, we did discuss Polonium people.
You'll have to fill in the audience.
Well, they were actually chronicled, weren't they?
The Chronicles.
Okay, this is a farce. This is a farce.
Okay.
Let's not let it slip too far without explanation so the audience can follow along.
yeah. Well, Polonium people, if ever, would have only existed during the times of Adam and Eve, because they don't last very long.
So you have researched it then?
No.
Oh.
How
Okay,
could
so
we invented it off the top of our heads in the spur of the moment when Arwen presented evidence to say that the polonium had formed over a given period, and we described them as people just for the sake of it. It is actually a representation of not polonium decay, but that there was actually a people made of
Well,
polonium.
if you say it often enough and long enough, they are people.
Well, technically, I'm reinforcing this completely made-up story in the same way the example which parallels with it is reinforced just by telling it. That would be that there's a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of presupposed spherical Earth, developed by an impact from a planet called Theia on a trajectory with Earth, hitting it at a glancing blow, the debris forming the moon through gravitational accretion, and the planet Theia depositing its gooey, juicy molten iron core in Earth's molten iron core that would have otherwise been cooled down, but for the fact that we had this impact with Theia. And our moon is obviously the remnants of that after gravitational accretion. Hence, we have our formation of the moon story and our explanation for the oversized molten iron core that should have cooled down already in their timeline. And it's true because they made it up themselves.
I'd like to see a demonstration of how to deposit a molten hot thing.
Oh, I can tell you. Oh, that's part of the story. Oh, that's one of the best bits,
When
Arwen.
something is molten hot,
No.
it splatters all over the
No,
place
it
when it
doesn't.
hits
No,
something
it's-
that's not.
No, because
That's
of the
solid.
No, you just don't understand orbital mechanics and the trajectory of Theia and its impact at a glancing blow. I did say glancing. Did everyone hear me say glancing blow?
Yes, and Neil deGrasse Tyson backs you up. He says the craters on the moon are the way they are because of that glancing blow. They show the way they are. Like
magic speed.
No, I think you mean they
Magic
don't.
speed.
They don't show that because they're not coming
But
in. at a
every
glancing-
time I demonstrate anything liquid hitting anything solid, the liquid splatters apart. Doesn't really
Even a
matter
magic-
how
No,
the
hold on.
glancing
Let me
blow
just
is.
appeal to Arwen. Look, you don't understand because in order for me to demonstrate this, you'd have to have something at the planetary scale to show it. Therefore, I'm,
Screw
reasonable.
you, bastard.
This has to be true, or we wouldn't have TVs, guys.
that's
If it
right.
wasn't for the molten iron core and Theia's impact and those magnetic waves, we wouldn't have the TV transmission exactly as you've just described. That's right.
That
And we wouldn't
makes
have
sense.
computers either. We wouldn't have pagers and fax machines.
Right. So it's like it has to exist in a paradoxical fashion because we have TVs in order to see it on them. So it has to exist, or the TVs could not have been made to show us that it exists.
Okay, now we've had a lot of farce. Somebody play the harp string so we can float our way back to reality. Right, back in reality, the claim of the glancing blow of Theia with the heliocentric fledgling Earth requires the acquisition of those heliocentric motions for a sphere Earth that was derived from a flat plane to get it to be spherical, to put it into an orbital motion. So you're going to need a flat plane for that story. You're going to have to start with flat Earth elevation angle measurements to claim that the Earth's spherical, defying the very premise of the measurements you took to claim it. And then go forward with the story about Theia smashing into the Earth and the moon being formed from its debris.
You've ruined it now with facts, haven't you?
I have, I know. But it's true that you do actually need a flat plane to claim you're on a sphere.
See, the When Adam told the story, I was falling asleep quite nice until you had to ruin it with facts.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Well, in the Polonium Chronicles, there is a reference to it, isn't there, Adam?
They couldn't tell. They were swimming around in molten lava. They really weren't.
What?
Well, yeah, the
No.
shadow. The shadow.
No, you can't talk about them being in molten lava. That makes no sense. Then they couldn't have left the rings. No, now you're going way too far with the breaking of reality here, Adam.
Does a shadow
This
cast
is-
in molten lava?
You
Yeah,
talk
hold
about
on.
like
Owen's,
shit like that.
Owen's calling out Adam for his farce being too farcical.
Yes. So
Cultural
the whole point of
appropriation
polonium
of it.
rings.
You
Look,
can't
you can
take the
go with
story of other
polonium
people.
but you can't say that that polonium rings were left in lava. That's
The
the
question is,
destruction of the entire original premise.
No,
The
no,
question-
no. They were lava creatures. They swam around in the molten lava. That's why when the lava sets, they're there, trapped in time.
there you go.
You gotta
And
have a
if you
medium.
cast
Hold
a-
on. You can't have
God.
polonium people without that medium, Arwin. I mean, that's a prerequisite.
That's just
You're gonna
just
need the
basic
medium, the
knowledge.
lava medium.
No. If there was
Obviously.
lava, then there wouldn't have been any rings in order for us to know there could have potentially been polonium people.
That's precisely our point.
Keep your presuppositional reasoning straight. You're just making it psychotic.
You're agreeing with us.
You're not lava people. You don't know the dynamics of lava people, so don't
Get
try.
out of here.
No, the question is distance of the sun. Now, did the sun, whatever distance it was from the Polonium people, was there a shadow cast of the people on the lava?
According to the Polonium Bible, it says that it's one distance to a rainbow times by the factor of 3. I don't know what they're talking about.
Look at Arwen showing his privilege over polonium people.
Yeah.
Are you talking
Nathan,
about
I have
whether?
We inherited the earth. They didn't.
That's the
Screw
meek.
polonium
Meek.
people.
Listen, I got 2 slides.
People,
Master
humans.
B
Me kid.
might shed some light on this.
Polonium
Illuminate
people
us.
never got to see the light because they're inside of the rock.
Oh, we
We're
won't
on
let
to
you.
s-
Oh, we won't let you. He's too triggered about the Polonium people.
Yeah, I know. Well, so you have the length of shadows, the picture?
No, but I will in 3 seconds. Go.
All right, since we're talking about a light source here. So here's a light source, and there's a short shadow. Source of light, the sun is nearly overhead. You go to the image directly to the right of that, light source, long shadow, source of light, the sun is at a large angle. Now, we've experienced this, have we not? Anybody not experienced this?
Punxsutawney Phil experiences this.
What?
This is whether or not there's going to be 6 more weeks of winter or not.
Ah, okay. But you've seen long shadows in the afternoon of trees in the park, right? And then you've been at the park at noon and the shadows right around the tree itself. I mean, we've all experienced this in a room even, just a small room. But I just would like to say, you see the base? That's flat. Let's go to the next slide.
You know, Temph, with that picture, and even though the base is flat, you could interpret the shadows to tell you how curved that flat surface is, you know.
Well,
That's
yeah,
true.
we're about to go there.
That is
we're
true.
about to go there.
Oh, is that exactly where we're going?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. Polonium people have this ability to know the future. So thank you, Adam. Navigating on curved surface. In approximately 300 BC, Eratosthenes, Greek mathematician living in Alexandria, devised a method of calculating the circumference of the Earth, and in doing so provided evidence to support his long-held belief that the Earth is a sphere. Eratosthenes reasoned that if 2 objects of equal height are placed in sunlight on the Earth's surface at a considerable distance apart, then at any given point in time, assuming the Earth is flat, they will cast shadows of equal length. In other words, the angle between the objects and the rays of sunlight would be the same. However, with the help of friends in Aswan, he observed that this was not so, that the shadows were unequal length. From this, he deduced that the surface of the Earth is curved. He went on to calculate the circumference of the Earth by following simple reasoning. Now, I'm not going to read the rest of that, but you just saw that picture. What is this man assuming? He's assuming first the earth is flat, and then all of a sudden there's a long shadow somewhere 500 miles away, but where he's at, it's not. So the earth must be curved. Really now, after looking at that picture?
If you, as Brian keeps pointing out recently, ignore perspective completely and assume a sphere.
And what else?
And take elevation
Sunlight.
and take angle measurements off a flat plane.
And sunlight coming in parallel rays.
And sunlight not diverging from its point source. No, correct. There's a whole load of assumptions that you've got to make.
Yep.
Well, there's also, if you want to try to debunk your original premise, you have to stop using the actual measure you're using of arc minutes or navigator's minute, however you want to say it, and then just go to trigonometry to try to debunk your original position.
I see. So so long as you've got the angles, maybe if you get your friend to measure the angles off a flat earth and then he comes and delivers them to you and just says, shh, don't worry about where I've got these angles. Nobody needs to know that. Here's the angles, go forth and use them on a sphere. Obviously, if you want to use these angles from the center of a presupposed spherical earth, that's up to you. Do what you got to do.
But John, in your spherical kitchen, can you achieve with a light source directly in the middle above you, 7.2 degree shadow? You go away from the light source?
If your brain's ticking over
yeah,
thinking, could I do that or not? I'm just going to say yes, just to keep the conversation going.
Well, yeah, no, I was about to say that's what I did in the last video I put out, was I showed the trick that they're doing and how you can replicate it in your kitchen. So,
Play that video.
What is it, protothad?
Can someone post that? Can you post it? Someone post it in Master B and we'll play it. It's only about 3 or 4 minutes long, isn't it?
Like 2 minutes. That's how short it is.
Yeah, let's play it. If someone can post it in Discord for me, that'd be not in Discord, in Master B.
I'm on my phone. I can't. I'm sorry.
Where was it last time? I'll go look for it.
Hopefully, for the audience's benefit, we'll get to play this for you because it got played about a week ago, and we've talked about it a lot. But I think it is well worth revisiting your video.
Unicorn, well, this is a new one.
Oh, there's a new one. Oh, right. Yeah, well, I've not seen it then. Oh, well, this will be great. Oh, happy days. I didn't expect.
This is born out of the challenge that has been set.
Sorry, why are we being set challenges?
Just because they're kind, because they can't bring a decent argument to us. So to fill our afternoons in after you've gone, yeah, keep the conversation going. The ballers are kindly setting us little dirty tricks for us to work through to see if our comprehension is fully up to speed.
No, okay. Beyond the general, I need to prove that you're not as smart as you say you are, therefore everything you say is therefore void argument, straw man fallacy, stereotyping fallacy, ad hom fallacy. Beyond those, what I mean to say is these arguments aren't our arguments. They're how celestial navigation is done. So if there's any challenge to what we're presenting from celestial navigation handbooks, magazines, and references in general, then you need to challenge the method of celestial navigation, not us flat earthers who happen to be referencing it. So why are they setting us with that in mind, Adam? Why are they setting us challenges? I don't get it.
It's only just, I think, just so we don't get bored, and solely because they don't have any actual argument with regards to the nature of Earth to have. So the only arguments or discussions or challenges that they can do are things that are kind of to do with the subject, but won't actually get them too triggered and cause them too much cognitive pain. So they seem to deal with things like, can a flat earther understand celestial navigation? And straw man like that, because obviously...
Right. They don't have a problem with the information. They have the problem with us pointing it out.
No.
I don't think that's true either, Owen. I think they're repositioning what's actually done in celestial navigation as an incorrect claim made by flat earthers. about how celestial navigation's performed. It's like, no, we're not claiming that's how it's done. That's how it's done. Here it is. This is how it's done. And then they start asking us to explain how if you take an angle measurement from a star back on towards Earth, that you don't know the height of the star, therefore it don't work. You're like, but celestial navigation, as per our argument, is an angle measurement from a flat plane to an object in the sky, not from the object in the sky back down to Earth. So you can ask us why, if you don't have a height, that won't work. See, that seems silly, because we're not making any claims about measuring angles from stars that even for you are having to be explained as being infinitely distant. When we say we don't know what the height of the star is, we know that you can measure an angle and it's directly correlative to the line between you and the position above the ground that it's at. Useful and used. But does that in any way involve the height of the star?
Everything you're saying backs my point, really. Right? Because that's their silly, nonsensical, straw-manning, idiotic response. But they never really had a problem with it as long as nobody pointed it out. Now, us constantly telling them, reminding them, look, 90 degrees, you need the right angle triangle. It doesn't work. That's the part they have a problem with. They didn't have a problem ignoring that part when they had to face it originally. Just skip over. Don't think about it. But because we remind them about it, that's giving them the problem. And that's why they respond so farcically and self-contradicting.
Well, part of this is in the assumption. I posted the video. It's 25 after the hour. It's the actual measure. It's an arc measurement, that they're doing from the co-altitude. You're assuming that is a shape.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Bunk and Debunk. Debunk's in bed again, but there's some people out there saying that my kitchen is flat. And I'm just going to go ahead and prove to them how they are wrong. Now let's go over here to the math, because math is reality as we know. Here we go. Let's go up here, and you see there at the top, You see right there? Okay. We had 107 inches divided by 70, and that's our co-altitude, which gives us 1.528 such and such arc inches. Now, to prove the Earth is, to prove that the kitchen is not flat, we'll take a 35-degree co-altitude and multiply that by our arc inches and get 53.5. That's what it is. But if the kitchen is flat, we'll take the tangent is equal to the opposite over the adjacent, which is a simple formula. So we got tangent times 107 gives 38.9448150665. That's the height of our triangle. Then we'll take that 35 degrees, if it was flat, and multiply it by our number and get 27.694530.837. Oh, wait, look at that, guys, right there. The 27.2694530.837 does not match the 53.5 if my kitchen was a sphere. Boom! My kitchen's a sphere, dog it.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen every single time from now on. If somebody like Protothad comes along and says, your flat Earth angle measurements aren't going to work on a flat Earth, here's how. We'll show how that directly can correlate with refracted curvatures, kitchen, being measured and inferred from flat Earth angle measurements to be a sphere also. And then check it out after the fact. We can take Protothad's method and show exactly how, when engineered back onto the claim of a, flat Earth kitchen? When it's been using flat Earth angle measurements to get it. Yeah, well, that's provable as a sphere after the fact. Hey, John, good job. I love that method, Protothad. Proved how spherical John's kitchen is. Amazing.
Yeah, it was a complete success. Now I just got to figure out, the other physics of my kitchen. It's going to be a wild ride as far as I can tell.
Did you ever get around the
I just
problem
can't
of,
handle a voice.
obviously, positionally, spherically, your car's 90 degrees to your position where you are now, right, in the garage? Did we ever get around that?
90 degrees on a sphere?
Yeah, yeah.
That's refraction.
Yes.
We didn't.
refraction. Thank you, Adam.
Adam's a genius. That's why you are here. Of course, refraction. Why didn't I think of that? At the rate of the ball that you've inferred.
Exactly.
Not a problem.
This is just simple logic, guys.
Just hate
Simple
having loose ends.
logic.
That 90-degree car to your position now in your house, in your garage. That's the problem, unless you know there's gravity. And refraction.
Yep, that's so now we have to study the gravity of my kitchen because we've proven it. So now we just have to start making observations of it.
I think you've done more than prove it. You've gone beyond proving it. You've taken your flat earth angle measurements. You've used the maths to take that to a spherical measurement. So your kitchen is now spherical, obviously. The model of your kitchen is the kitchen you're in. And then when someone's come along and gone, hang on a second, you've used flat earth angle measurements to turn this into a sphere kitchen. You go, no. If I take the angle back from the lighting fixture, it can't be flat. Boom. Take that. Gone beyond proving it. Disproved the measurements you took in the first place could have even been taken, paradoxically, and that paradox basically leaves you with a sphere win.
Exactly, because nobody wins. Because it can't be flat and it can't be a sphere. So it's got to be a sphere.
Yeah, when a sphere don't work and it can't be flat that you use to turn it into a sphere, then it can't be flat. And everyone knows it's a sphere, therefore sphere wins. It's just that simple, really.
Right, it has to be a sphere somehow.
Exactly, Owen. You've got to have some reason. And if you can't figure it out as an individual, don't worry your precious little head about it. Somebody much, much smarter than you will have figured it out. And if some flat earther tells you otherwise, you tell them how stupid they are.
Well, that's the thing. Why would I be looking for the radius of my kitchen if it didn't have one?
Exactly. The fact that we've even got this value on paper, written down and qualifiable with maths, means it must exist. It would not exist if it wasn't written down. Can't not exist. It does exist.
We've calculated it.
Exactly. Into existence.
Exactly. So there you go.
Math is reality, guys.
Yeah,
That's
just
a
go on.
That's a Kumo virus logic.
But just to clarify, what we've calculated into existence is the sphere kitchen, and we've done that by way of a flat plane. And you know what? The Earth that the majority Western world occupier thinks is a sphere Earth beneath their feet has also been derived from a flat plane. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, the angles you use to calculate it will have no validity if the surface you took them from was curved. You have to know that the surface is flat. You get your angle so you can exactly figure out how curved it is.
And none of this could have happened without the polonium sextant.
With space plumb bobs.
Any scientific
There's
evidence
no
of gravity?
proof that polonium people ever use tools.
Just in case anybody
Didn't
infers
live
that
that
the 90-degree car to the position of the spherical kitchen is somehow a proof of something. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Well, that would be the 90-degree car to my kitchen.
Oh, my bad. Obviously, with the
No.
90-degree car refracted up to your position that you're looking at it flat, that's gravity that's keeping it at 90 degrees when you actually get to it. Because obviously it's only relative to your position at the time you're there. So when you get to the car, it's not 90 degrees to your position because you're at the car's position now. Am I right? I'm just assuming that's the case, obviously.
Well,
No,
Anti-total
there's a much better proof, right? The proof that Newtonian gravity exists is because it's the only way to actually be able to represent a model of the heliocentric universe.
Kitchen, heliocentric kitchen.
heliocentric kitchen, are we? And try to keep
Or
up.
kitchen, whatever.
Or whatever, we've decided to make spherical with flat Earth angle measurements. Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Tin Chin in the chat. Good to have you here.
I just saw that and the icon. Pass.
Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics? That's why I can't have Discord chat. I wouldn't have caught that had it been covered in some Discord poison. Was that in the after show? All right, if that becomes an in-joke for the live audience, I'm sorry. I forget where we are. We did discuss it in the pre-show. If it is an in-joke, it's not. We have discussed it. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Well, if you were going to assert a hypothesis in those fields and you're a heliocentrist, you would need a flat plane to derive a radius value to describe your phenomenon within.
Feels good to be a flat earther at the moment. I don't know about you guys. I'm pretty chilled with the whole thing since this angle requirement for a flat plane. I mean, I don't know about you. I've been pretty cool about the whole thing. Other than the liars. That does make my blood boil.
But if this line on Dunkin' Donuts don't move in 2 seconds, I'm going to flip out.
You talking to me or the teller?
Fuck it to anybody who can.
I think the teller.
Probably.
But yeah, it's like seeing behind the magic trick and then, you know, hearing the people argue about how it's not a magic trick. Even when you can show them the magic trick in your kitchen, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it does make you wonder why they, you know, had kids right up until my generation being showed the magic of the yellow brick road and the curtain being pulled back at the end. You know, they showed that every single Christmas. Anyway. Any evidence you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
No, I did hear something about that in the pre-show as I joined, dropped, and come back again. Was it Arthur? Was
Yeah,
gone,
Arthur was saying even in India they would make the assumption, well, the people that he's spoken to have said that, no, if I release a bit of helium into a vacuum chamber, it'll be gradiated.
No. Based on what?
Based on ignorance. Based on gas go down, go boom boom because of gravity. That's why we qualified it. I should have said that bit. He started out by saying some of the people round by me who I talked to about this subject also assume gas go down, go boom boom.
Fair enough.
That's an odd thing to believe.
Yeah, but even PhD Thunderfoot Clown asserts that gas go down, go boom boom like solid bouncy balls. That's what they assert.
Just as odd as saying that when you do navigation, you have to assume the Earth is motionless.
Become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member to check out the pre-show. In that regard. Did we cover all the housekeeping questions? Alt9 core. Any other distance to the sun we covered as well, didn't we? We definitely ended up talking about AU. Arwinian unit. I think we covered all the housekeeping questions. That's the first time this week.
How about R?
Any evidence of the R value? Good job, your ear, Arwin.
Mate. No.
It exists in the math only.
Black Swan.
I mean, we've got a fully angle measured and radius value calculated for John's kitchen. We've got evidence of that.
Yeah, irrefutable evidence. You can prove out it definitely couldn't have been taken from a flat Earth in terms of the measurements you're using to assert how not flat it is if you take the measurement of the angle from his light bulb. Amazing, really. You can prove how it must be spherical. Or at the very least, you've got a paradox that wouldn't allow anybody to win, and therefore it's a sphere, because obviously consensus all knows it's a sphere. So if you lose and I lose, then it's still a sphere.
Yeah, I think John's done better than that. I think he's definitely proved it can't be flat, because he's calculated his arc nautical inches on the ceiling, yeah, worked out the ratio of arc inches per degree, gone to another place and realised that that ratio doesn't apply and it's incorrect. Therefore, his ratio doesn't work in the sky. Therefore, it can't be flat.
But the arc was off 2 straight lines. One of them was flat and on the ground, Adam.
You are not getting the beauty of this. You have
I'm just
to
getting
assume
hung up on the
arc
flat
was in
Earth bit,
shape.
aren't I?
Yes, you're getting hung up on this flat kitchen part where it has to be flat to get the measurements to begin with.
You've got to get past that. You've
How
got to
about-
get past that initial knowledge that allows you to take the angle. You've got to work and move past that moment.
Right,
Yeah.
somebody mute Arwin so he can't claim this is his Arwinian idea in about 3
What?
months from now, right?
I just wanted to introduce a new terminology: kitchen refraction.
No,
Well, it has more of
No,
a basis in reality.
no, we're giving them
because I do
tips.
have
It was obviously too subtle. I'll just break down what Adam's just said. What we need to do is, I'm now paraphrasing us as anti-flat earthers, right? So we're the anti-flat earthers, and what we must do is have a means of acquisition of that flat earth elevation angle that we need, but by means that isn't me doing it, giving me plausible deniability. So this is what I'm going to suggest we do. I get a third party to go out and measure the flat earth angle and bring it back. Just give it me as a number. And then obviously from that point, I can do whatever I like with it if the math's right. I can have it coming from the centre of a presupposed spherical earth. I can have it working off a tangent. I can do whatever I like with it. I just don't need to know where it came from.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot easier if somebody just gives you the angle.
Exactly.
And you don't have to accept the reality of how it was obtained.
So, if you've got black market flat earth elevation angles for sale, there's a lot of anti-flat earthers that are there as a market for you. So, who's got black market flat earth elevation angles for sale? Because you're going to need them for your sphere belief.
Where's Chocolate at when you need him? You know, he's selling geometric horizons there for a bit. Maybe he can get in on this too.
Smash the super chat if you want to buy a black market flat earth elevation angle for use on an anti-flat earth non-sphere you'll be denying because it's refracted.
I gotta go.
Wally is in chat, by the way. Whereas Wally is there.
Who?
Addressing you, Nathan.
Yes, lots of people address me from the chat. It's a public show though, isn't it? If you'd like to join, there's a live stream queue. One of the mods will move you into the live stream show so you can address me right here, right now. That's the beauty of having an open door live show. I don't have to sit and read endless jibber jabber from comments, otherwise known as the peanut gallery. So yeah, black market elevation angles are available. I won't tell you where they came from, right? You don't need to know they came from a flat earth. Nobody needs to know that, right? But once you've got them, you can go and batter flat earthers with them and how they don't work on a flat earth. Shh, they came from a flat earth, but I just won't tell you that. And you'll have plausible deniability. I'll just give you the numbers. Don't need to know where they came from. Flat earth.
Well, in their defense, they're not actually using the angle measurement they took. They're subtracting from 90, which is another, problem for them. But then they're using
No, you've ruined this. I'm trying to sell black market angles here. Don't mention 90. The hell are you doing?
Well, I was just trying to give them the angle that they need, because just getting the flat Earth
You're making this worse. As soon as you say 90, that obviously tells them they've got it from a flat earth. Nobody needs that crap. Bloody hell, you're
Well, that's what I
ruining
was
my
saying.
black market angle selling business.
Well, you're going to have to sell the co-altitude. You can't sell the actual angle
See, now
measurement.
you're getting it. Yeah,
There you go.
co-altitude. Nobody mentioned that which shall not be mentioned, that 9 and a 0 next to it. That doesn't get mentioned when you say co-altitude. Just say co-altitude. Now you're getting it. Nobody mention what a co-altitude is. Everyone else shut your mouths. Black market angles are available.
Right, and in a co-altitude, all you need is your zenith and the
Don't
angle
mention zenith!
away from the
Oh,
bottom.
God, you're crap at this. Don't mention zenith. Right?
Zenith is to the a zenith is to the center of a presupposed spherical kitchen.
You've got to get
Earth.
that in. If you're going to say that word, you've got to get these disclaimers in as an anti-flat earther first. You know, we're laying out the rules here live. This is disgraceful. No one's going to buy my elevation angles. Nobody smashed the super chat. Nobody wants these now. You've tarnished this. I blame you, John.
It's got co-altitude angle that has no connection whatsoever to a flat Earth. Fine.
What?
I think you'll find it's the co-altitude angle that has no connection whatsoever to a flat Earth.
Yeah, it does.
If you're trying to sell him, you can't tell him that.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't following along. You've only joined into this fast a second ago, Brian. You need to give us a heads up what you're doing. You're normally super serious. It's not like you to be jovial.
I am deadly serious. It's €5,000 per angle. That's co-altitude angle.
Excuse me, bitch, this is my fucking corner. How dare you? I'll claw your eyes out. I noticed the thumbnail. I don't know who made it. Somebody had a moan thumbnail, or it was sent to me in Skype. Might have been ranty. I just got to see the thumbnail of someone saying, claim to be subject matter expert, wants $5,000.
Oh, yeah. It's like, no, I don't claim to be a subject matter expert. I am a subject matter expert. And I don't want $5,000. That is my fee. So
Yeah, take it or leave it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, just as a point on that, can they point to an actual flat Earth subject matter expert that could refute his claim of being a subject matter expert on the flat Earth?
To be fair, that's something that someone else, it wasn't you, but somebody after the fact pointed out to me. What else have you got as a flat Earth subject matter expert? Like, literally, what else is there out there? Well, we know every single one of them pretty much, don't we? I mean, there might be some exceptions, but we know them all. So
yeah. Any English-speaking ones we definitely do anyway.
That's a better way of putting it. Yeah, any English-speaking flat Earth quote-unquote subject matter experts, I am almost certain I've got their contact details.
So what they need to do is find a Farsi-speaking flat Earth expert to refute his claim of being a flat Earth subject matter expert.
Yeah, you need to get an actual subject matter expert that's in the field of flat Earth in a university, because obviously that's the standard, right?
Well, if they do find someone who is a greater subject matter expert than any of us, then that'll be bad for them, because that person will know things even we don't know.
Maybe they could get QE to refute it.
Didn't they just tell us an earth curve stencil made of like tinfoil, wood, clay, porcelain, anything? I mean, like all the, the great, calculators of the fake measurement of a supposed globe. Shouldn't all these guys in like surveying and construction have an earth curve stencil? Like I can make them one and sell them one out of tinfoil if they want one. I'm not saying it's going to be real, but I'll make them one.
You would think they would have them.
You'd think they'd have to, right? Like we have a meter stick that's 3 feet and it's straight. You'd think they'd have to have their curved stencil stick that has a curve to it slightly. A meter stick with a slight curve to it. Shouldn't they? Shouldn't this exist?
Yeah,
on the globe?
Where the distances along the meter stick are painted in to account for the lean that would happen.
Well, you could take
I'm just really
like a
surprised
protractor.
nobody made one of these.
Well, they have pictures of it, but it just doesn't match the angle measurement of a right angle, because you can't have a curved adjacent, but they show pictures of it curving.
I'm thinking there must have been some really naive people back in the day to allow this lie to grow so large that that's our belief system now, that we're living on a spinning water ball. I think people were stupid back then. I'm sorry.
No, I think you've summarised the reason in the question. It becomes our religion. It's the Western world religion. It's the one world religion. Heliocentrism is that one world religion being described by Bush Senior. but just nobody realises it.
I think you're right.
But Neil, they wouldn't have been able to refute it, because if the people promoting it were, let's say, of the educated class, as like people who were astronomers of the time and different things like that, if those kind of people who were promoting it, you know, because even Samuel Rowbotham, his number one opponent was this well-known surveyor who, you know what I mean? So there you go. It was like there was always some supposed learned person that was refuting their claims. So, but if you go back even before that, like how could they prove that it wasn't a globe to everyone at the time? All they could do was just not believe it's a globe. They wouldn't have been able to prove it, to the masses. There was no internet. There wasn't even TV or radio. There wasn't anything. There was no way around it. You know, whoever was in charge said what it was.
As opposed to, I thought you were going to launch into the comparison with now, but clearly not.
What's that?
By comparison? Well, by comparison, if you've got that description of people not being able to disseminate the information by the means and not having necessarily the knowledge to even disseminate in the first place, by comparison, now we have a meeting of minds across the oceans with the million miles of fibre optic cable that we have at our disposal to have this conversation that we're having right now, as amazing as that is when I summarise it, to have a meeting of minds and a realisation that there's certain aspects of a plane that we utilise daily, in this case celestial navigation, that proves beyond all certitude that you can't not have a flat plane beneath your feet. But then you only have the last bit of that problem that they had back then, which is disseminating it to the masses. Well, in the case of this particular platform, we're governed by the platform, and the category is considered fringe. Now, obviously, algorithmically, that's not a problem for them to promote our anti-flat Earth counterparts, even though they've got the same title and tags as we have. But nevertheless, if you're an actual devout flat earther, as I would consider myself, then you are considered fringe in this particular arena, which means you don't get any of the promotion that your flat Earth, anti-flat Earth counterpart will get.
I would say it's time for people to subscribe to Nathan Oakley in 1980 then.
Indeed, and become a member so you can see the pre-show with Tent's excellent presentation, like 3 or 4 days before the rest of the general public get to see it.
Now, these anti-flat earthers, didn't they, when they issued this challenge to us about the co-altitude angles, wasn't there a monetary amount applied to, like, if we could figure it out?
I don't know. I have no idea what this is. I don't, unless someone's come on the show and actually presented this garbage to us. I'm not Mr. Current Affairs. I don't keep up with that crap anymore.
What Adam Meakin's presenting right there.
Okay.
If you, yeah, that
this is what you did. You've just poked fun at this. Oh, sorry. Am I ruining a joke? Go ahead, John.
But no, it's not a joke, because I thought that there was a monetary amount applied to this as a proof that the Earth can't be flat. Is he going to pay me money now, or am I thinking of somebody else?
It could have been John. It could have been. I don't remember now. But you would be worth asking him. Well, it probably wouldn't be worth asking him.
Well, that's a good point. No. So in address to the challenge, whatever the challenge may be, I don't need to understand it. John has shown that in this example of the challenge, I assume that's what you're doing with your request for cash, if there is one, i.e. a reward, to say that I've taken a flat plane, engineered it into the exact same sphere Earth mathematics you will and do use, to then use your example to show how it's not flat when it was measured flat. Therefore, debunking the claim that this demonstrates how it can't work on a flat plane when the original assertion of the sphere you're saying can't be shown to be flat was taken off a flat plane in your example. Debunking the claim that this cannot work on a flat plane. Therefore, you're owed some money. And I agree. If there's money available for this, and it's claimed to be a proof that it can't work on a flat plane, and you show how the angle that's being used in the challenge came from a flat plane, you are owed money.
We show that. We also figure out the tricksiness of the problem, and this is what we had fun with yesterday afternoon.
Don't forget to use a GoPro lens in your kitchen to make it look super round too.
That would have been a better angle to have had on the video. I'll agree with you there, Dimmock. Yeah, if you'd have used a GoPro when looking at your wall and said, look how bendy my claim to be geometric wall is.
Yeah, but you don't have no Atmo day in John's kitchen.
No, that's true. I mean, we haven't engineered refraction into these mathematics, but we've got a separate set somewhere else, haven't we, John?
Yes, I do have a geometric obstruction I call my wall. So I have that over their model.
No, but we discussed it earlier with your car. Obviously, if there's refraction needed to explain something, that is in separate maths that can be applied, regardless of how it also would make none of these straight lines straight anymore. It's separate maths, so it's the bit I'm driving at, right? You have definitely got separate refraction maths based on the R that you're proving when you took these flat plane measurements, transposed them into the challenge mathematics, and showed how it couldn't be flat with the flat Earth angle measurements you took in the first place. You've got refraction maths for that separately, haven't you, John?
Well, of course, they're based on a sliding scale, but the R value is always there, and I have a geometric obstruction to prove that R value.
Perfect. Which is more than
which
they've got? More than they've got? So who owes you money?
My model.
So can we be told John's owed money?
Well, the slide that Adam is showing from Proto, he's not even doing celestial navigation properly with the 40-degree elevation angle. He does it with the 65, and it was on the show that showed this slide before, and someone asked me to comment on it. And I said, he's doing it wrong. They said, explain. And I, typed in, well, 25 times 60 nautical miles is 1,500 nautical miles. He did it right there, as Adam and us talked about yesterday. And then I said, but he didn't do the 50 right, because 50 times 60 from an elevation angle of 40 would be 3,000. He's got a number written there, 2333. So he's not doing celestial navigation. He's doing something else, but not celestial navigation here.
I want to know why
he's
a
doing-
Kumo virus is. I want to know why a Kumo virus is begging for 4 more hours.
Hey,
Does he
leave
have
that peanut
something?
gallery. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, what Prototype did was he cheated. His first angle was an elevation angle, a celestial navigation elevation angle. No problem there. His second angle used the distance, the nautical mile distance that he had already gotten from his first celestial navigation angle. The second angle then pre-assumed that the star was 3,000 nautical miles high, and he did trigonometry, not an elevation angle, a celestial navigation elevation angle. The difference is celestial navigation use triangulation, not trigonometry. They are not trying to determine the height of the star. And so that's what he had to do for his second angle. So the reason that his distances are different with his second angle is because he used a 3,000 nautical mile high height to the opposite side of the right triangle for the star. And he then did trigonometry on that angle, on that right triangle. But the problem is he didn't use the 50, he didn't subtract the 40 from the 90 and use the 50 by 60 to create 3,000 nautical miles.
So he didn't use celestial. So he didn't use the method used in celestial navigation then?
No, he didn't. No, he cheated.
This is the fun of the video as well. So the first point, he uses celestial navigation to define his distance of 1,500 nautical miles, and he takes his elevation angle, subtracts from 90 to get his co-angle, and multiplies it to generate that 1,500 nautical miles, which is celestial navigation. So he uses the 25, not the 65, to define his distance. What, as Brian was then saying, what he then does is he moves from celestial navigation, takes his reading again off his flat plane to get the 40 degrees, but instead of now using celestial navigation and using the co-angle to generate the 3,000 nautical miles, which would be the full base of the baseline, making both distances 1,500 nautical miles, the way he does then, he switches to standard geometric trigonometry, and in doing so, he has to, from the previous angle of 65 and previous distance of 1,500 meters, he has to assign distances from the GP to the actual star and for the two hypotenuses. They all achieve, whether you write them down or not, they all achieve real term values because you're no longer doing celestial navigation. And if you then do that and just do it as standard trigonometry, not celestial navigation, the distance of the full baseline at 40 degrees will turn out to be 3,833 degrees if you've used the 65 and the 1500, because the way you calculate it is from the 40 degrees internally, trigonometrically, as opposed to with the 50 degrees using celestial navigation.
With that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you. Smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. Also below this video, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy, and this is of particular note if you drive an electric vehicle. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on a premiering stream, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!